All right, welcome everyone. I'm Chris Ripley. I'm going to be your host today, and I hope everyone enjoys our webinar. Today's webinar is Measuring Your Marketing, how to use reports and analytics to evaluate your marketing campaigns. This is a really important webinar, and I think that in any business situation, you've got to have the ability to generate reports and use analytics to evaluate anything that you do, but it's particularly important with marketing because you're making a big investment and you'd like to know where your money's going. So I hope that you'll find today's webinar informative and you'll walk away with a couple of things that you can go off and implement. Before we get started, I'd like to just ask a couple of questions, and I'd like to get your feedback from this. So if you could please help me out with this, I'm going to flash a poll up on the screen here, and you'll see how did you hear about this webinar. So if you're just getting here, if you could please fill that out to just let me know. I'd like to find out how our marketing efforts are working and get a little bit of analytics on that. And this is another way that we can do that. So anybody's here, we're almost at everybody. We got a couple more. We're getting better. Hi, Mark. How you doing? See, somebody I know popped in there. So there's still one more person who hasn't voted. Let me see. We'll just go. Maybe that's Mark. So I'll ask him later. But so that's one quick question I really wanted to ask everybody. And thanks. Looks like my email newsletter. This is not planned this way at all, but my email newsletter generated 67% of the people, a third of the people who were here. So that's just interesting. 22% from the Constant Contact website and 11 from others. So I ran a Facebook ad, and I was thinking that the Facebook ad might have generated some people, but I don't see anything showing up on that. And there you can see, Facebook and LinkedIn. I don't think I did any marketing on LinkedIn this time, unfortunately. So I didn't think that would show up, but I thought I would put it in there just in case I talked to anybody on LinkedIn that had heard about it. So then I'm going to do one quick other one here. I just want to know how many people have Constant Contact. And, if you have it, sometimes you have it, but you don't use it. So either one or the other would be fine in that regard. So I'm going to give it about 10 more seconds here. So if you haven't responded yet, please do that because I want to go ahead and get started. I don't want to take too much more of folks' time up here. So there we go. So that's looks like we got about an 80-20 breakdown here. 80% Constant Contact, 20% not. So, that just gives you some ideas of gives me an idea too of who's on the call. And I'm done. And these are always good tools that you could use. There's a poll tool within GoToWebinar, and you can use that poll tool to gather information. Any opportunity you have to gather information is critical. The other thing that looks like I gotta flip back to this. Yeah. The other thing that I'm going to mention that I'm not going to talk a lot about because it's another webinar that we've done before, it just takes too long. But I want to make sure that if you're using, to get reports and analytics, the other thing that you're doing is you're using Google AdWords. I'm sorry, Google Analytics. I'm sorry, I meant Google Analytics. You should always have Google Analytics on your website. And every week, every month, whatever, at least every month, I would go and look at Google Analytics and find out where your traffic is coming from. Because if you don't know where the traffic on your website is coming from, it's a big gap in your ability to market your company effectively, and all that goes with Google Analytics. We're not going to talk about that today, but while I was thinking of it, I wanted to mention that as well. So, and if anybody has questions with Google Analytics, at the end of the webinar, I'll be giving you my contact information. You can contact me about that as well, because Google Analytics is free. And I have a video how to set it up. I'm sure if you just went to YouTube and Googled how to set up YouTube Analytics, you would went to YouTube and looked for a video on how to set up Google Analytics, you would find one. So that's it. That's all the babbling I'm going to do. Well, I guess not, because I'm going to talk, a little bit about myself. I'm a Constant Contact authorized local expert. There's my Facebook page. We do lots of great stuff on the Facebook page. You can find our blog post there. We post other information. We do videos. So if you want to check that out. And then Twitter, I'm hanging out in the mid 900s in followers, and I'm trying to get to 1,000. So if you wanted to follow Chris Ripley, I would really appreciate that, and you might learn some stuff from my Twitter feed as well. So a little bit more about me. I have 22 years before I started this business in retail sales and management. And, one of my jobs was I was once a women's shoe buyer. Back in the mid to late 80s, I bought women's shoes, went to the Far East, went to Italy. It was very interesting. Left retail, went back to school and started my own business, got my master's degree, thought I would refresh my education as well. We started the Strategic Marketing Group in 2003, and I do a little bit of teaching on the side as well with the College of Southern Maryland and University of Maryland University College. I guess it was too long. We'll have to fix that. I don't want to misrepresent myself. So anyway, my favorite baseball team is the Red Sox. Hasn't been a good year for them the last couple of years, but I got to go inside of Fenway, inside of the Green Monster. My daughter was a tour guide for a summer at Fenway Park and got me into the Green Monster, which was pretty cool. And you can go back here, and here's what it looks like behind the Green Monster if anybody was interested in that. But anyway, why are we here today? What are we here for? What are we trying to learn? We're going to talk about reports and analytics. So the reports are the kind of hard numbers, the facts, and then the analytics are when you take those numbers and you try to figure out what your next move is. Basically, using the reports like you might use a SWOT analysis that you might do when you're making a business plan. I'm sure everybody has business plans and everybody has done a SWOT. So, SWOT, strengths, weaknesses, your internal attributes and opportunities, and then opportunities and threats, SWOT. The opportunities are your market opportunities, things in the outside world, and then your threats are any threats from the outside to your business and your business model. So, the things we're going to get into today aren't going to be able to indicate those things, but they certainly will be able to help you out. Small businesses believe that reports and analytics provide a business advantage, and there's no question that it does. Being able to know what your email open rate and what your click-through rate is, and what subject lines work, and that type of thing is really important in being more successful with your email marketing, and it helps retain customers. 67% of the small businesses believe that email marketing helps you retain customers. And I think we could be certain that the other 33% aren't using email marketing, because if they were, they would know. We do email marketing for lots of folks, and there isn't one of them who's been doing it for 6 months. I would say 6 months is when people really start getting religion. If you're doing it and you're doing it every week, you're going to get more business. Virtually every client that I've had that's been with us at least 6 months, if you would ask them, you don't even have to solicit it. It's, what happens every time you send out an email? And they'll know, we get more business. So, and then being able to fine tune that to become a lot more effective with it, with analytics and reports, you're going to be a lot more successful. So this is what we're going to talk about today. Marketing with reports and analytics, marketing campaign types and reports, different things that you can do. All these are built into Constant Contact, and it gives you a great platform to run your marketing from. And the more things that we can do under the same umbrella, the easier it's going to be, because when everything works together, it's easier. Kind of like the Apple system. Just I'm still amazed. The computer I'm working on today, and I don't want to jinx it, I'll knock on wood. 2 days had another hard drive in it, and I bought a solid state drive and took it to a place. They put it in. I get my computer back. It's just like everything works the same, but it's about 10 times faster. So if you haven't put a solid state drive in your computer yet, I really encourage you to do that. So anyway, how to evaluate a marketing plan. So let's move on. Marketing with reports and analytics. How do reports and analytics relate to your marketing? Pretty straightforward. Marketing is about getting results. And that's the thing that I like so much about email marketing, is that it gets results. I think that everybody, you know, should be thinking about doing email marketing. At the end, I'll give you an opportunity to learn more about that. And, I'm doing something that's really, really inexpensive and really effective. So, reports and analytics. Reports show you what's happening now. That's what I said. It's like the facts. Here's what your email open rate, or here's what your click through rate is, that type of thing. Or, if you're selling stuff through your emails, how much you sell. One of my clients, a lawn care company, at this time of the year, we're really focusing on core aeration and overseeding and trying to renovate people's lawns in the fall. It's much better to do it in the fall than the spring. So, they measure where every call comes from. And they've been, their email marketing calls have dramatically increased since we focused on this one thing. And then with analytics, that's going to be able to help you make decisions for tomorrow. One of the things that I recommend that you think about doing, the people that have Constant Contact, I highly recommend that you try doing some surveys with your customers. Today, reputation management is critical. Being able to find out what your customers' hot buttons are and what you're doing well and what you're doing poorly is critical. So if you use the survey module in Constant Contact, you can easily do a survey, send it out to your people, and learn what their hot buttons might be, what they like about your product or service, what they don't like. And then you can use that information to make changes within your organization. It's important that you do, because if you do surveys and you don't react to it, customers will be disappointed as well, and your response rate will go down, that type of thing. I highly encourage you to do that. Here we talk about email open rates, a really elementary statistic. But I encourage everybody, if you look down here at the bottom, you can visit this bit.ly backslash CTCT open rates, Constant Contact open rates. Constant Contact did a survey itself based on the categories that their customers put themselves in, and determine some industry open rates. This is a great number to have. People really look for this when I show this to them. There's actually a whole report on the website, and I would encourage you to go there. I can probably. Yeah. Let's see here. I can put a link over here. You can tell I'm a real fast typist. So there you go. So there's a link. I'm going to put a few other links in there as well, and you can click on that link. Don't do it now, but when we're done, you can do it later on, or you can do it now. What happened here? Now I'm stuck. Did I speak? So anyway, so I guess I'm done with this page. I could have gone forward anyway, but go to the website, check out your industry open rates and other statistics that are there as well, and use that to benchmark your company to see how you're doing, to see if you're, meeting the open rate of your industry and how can you exceed that. And we'll talk about how you can do that coming up here. So, there's different types of campaigns and reports within Constant Contact. You can look down here. You can get email opens, event registrants, survey responses, coupon information, donors, whatever you'd like to do. Here's the number of contacts that you have. We would all hope that you're trying to grow your contact list one way or another. That's going to really help you. Down here, you might be able to look into individual campaigns, see how many opens, how many clicks, how many sends you did there, so you can almost figure the information right in your head. If you're a nonprofit organization, how many donors do you have and how much, did they give? And there you can figure out what your average donation is. So those are all ways that you can look at your business. And if you're not, the folks that aren't using Constant Contact, other email providers would have this as well. Myself, I've been using Constant Contact for 12 years, as long as I've had my business, and I've really found I've worked with hundreds of clients over the years, and I've worked with lots of different email providers, and I've generally found Constant Contact to be about the easiest and the best. We just brought a new client on board who actually was using MailChimp, and my assistant, who does most of the creation of emails, begged me to switch it over to Constant Contact so we could it would be a lot easier for her to do. So here we go. When you get into things that you can look at in terms of reports to measure on email open rate. Look at your open rate on individual emails. Look at your open rate over time. If you ever see that you have an email that seems to have a high open rate, wonder why that was. And you may then go and try a few things. Was it the subject line that you put out there? Was it there was a video in that email, and then you can, if it's a video that you create and link it to go up on YouTube, well, how many views of that video did you get? How many clicks had you got on that video? Bounces, you want to make sure that you're watching your bounces all the time and keep it cleaned up. Initially with your list, whenever you add a list in, always check to make sure that they're correct emails. Sometimes it just might be a dot missing in a, google.com. It becomes all words, without the dot. Watch your spam. You want to really be careful there again, and you don't want to bring in any lists that are not from appropriate sources. And then opt-outs. Are you getting a lot of opt-outs? And what can you do about that? Is it the content of your email? If you're running events like we're doing today, what's the registration status of people? What's your attendance? Are people paying? Things like that you want to think about. With a survey, you want to look at your response rate. There's a little bit of response rate information, I believe, in that report as well. With the survey, you'll be using your email list and then inviting them to take the survey. So how many people are even opening it? What's your click-through rate on the survey? Another statistic to think about. And I'll be very honest with you. A question that I get asked often is it worth giving people incentives to do a survey? And if you're going to respond to them after the survey is done and give them feedback as to what people said and how you're going to fix it, that type of thing, I don't think you have to worry about giving it any incentives. And in general, I don't think you have to worry about giving incentives. If you have customers who are loyal to your business, they're going to want to give you feedback. And I'll be honest with you, seek more than just once a year to ask for feedback. Offers of promotions that you do, things to think about. How much did you do? What was your revenue? Did you get any new customers? Did you get any shares? Because I'll be very honest with you as well. You may see this out there, but I certainly see where getting people to share things is pretty hard. It's unless it depends on what it is, but often within the business world and on a business and with an email and that sort of thing, it's hard to do. One of the things that I found that you get the most sharing with, and then maybe they'll also add you to their list, is job opportunities. We get a lot of action when clients post job opportunities on Facebook in terms of sharing and people getting tagged in it, that sort of thing. So they see it. And, if you're having a hard time finding employees, which again, is, most businesses are, give it a try. Try to post a job on Facebook and then even think about, promoting it, boosting the post. That's a pretty simple way to do some Facebook advertising and can be relatively effective. So that's a little bonus tip there. Donations the same, and then social media, like as I was alluding to there, getting engagement. It's hard to get engagement, and this, especially for new businesses. If you have an older business that has been doing it for several years, has been able to maintain a certain level of engagement, but Facebook especially, and I'm talking mostly about Facebook here because that's the most prevalent that people are using. If you're getting 5% of your people are seeing your posts on your business page, you're doing pretty well there. They've cut back on what people see in their news feed from business pages to get people to pay. And I can understand that. They're a public company and they have stockholders that they have to justify their existence to. So they're going to, try to figure out how they can make money. And the ads, and still, it's very good. We didn't see it on my survey at the beginning there, but I still think I certainly see it in many places where running Facebook ads brings in response. So here you go. I talked through this a little bit, but I'll be more specific. If you have a high open rate on your email and a low click-through rate, you might want to think about the high open rate. Maybe you're finding that, best time of day, how to get a high open rate. What's the best time of day? I find for me, because I'm targeting business owners often, that the best time for me is sometimes Friday afternoon or Sunday, because sometimes business owners, everybody's gone Friday afternoon, they'll try to get a little work done, or on Sunday they try to get their email caught up before they go in the next morning. So think about what your clients, might be doing. If it's a service business, maybe you want to catch people in the evening. Think about too that about 60% of your emails are being opened on a mobile phone. So don't, that just goes with not having very long emails. So low click-through rate, have a strong call to action. I find we get good click-throughs on videos, and keep your videos short, but videos will get you good click-throughs. If you're having a low open rate, again, timing and frequency. Subject line, very important. One of the best subject lines in the history of email, maybe the best. Back in 2012 with the Obama campaign, they were really working hard to perfect the results from their emails. And the best email results for fundraising, it raised like $5.7 million, was an email with the subject line, "Hey," Hey. That was it. It said from Barack Obama or whatever, President Obama on the side, but that was it. You were just wondering what the hay was about, and it was very successful. So, you know, subject lines can be short if you want. Make sure that you're sending them stuff that's interesting. That's what always, makes me wonder sometimes. I wonder if I get too much into the weeds and it bores people. So think about that. High click through rate, format links to stand out, offer links, and segment your audience based on clicks. That's another thing to think about. If you're, going back to my lawn care company, because they're a pretty big company, so we get good numbers for results. Oh, well, I almost lost my train of thought there. If we run a video on how to overseed and aerate your lawn and how that's done and that type of thing, and all the people that have clicked are now prospects for that service. So think about that as well. You can just go into Constant Contact, click on the clicks number, and there's a list of prospects that are interested in whatever the service is that you put in there that they clicked on. That's a great way. They have a phone team, so they're able to go in and find out who clicked and then take that list and go call those people. And 75-80% of the time, you're going to get an answering machine. So just make sure that you have uh, a pitch prepared to give them on that good or service and leave them the message, and hopefully they'll call you back and buy the service. More will if you make the calls than if you just do the email, because then you're really combining email marketing, which is the highest return on investment, with telemarketing, because most of these people, they have the phone numbers of their current customers or their prospects, people that they've given estimates to and never signed up. So oh man, I'm having trouble. I'm really getting into this, but I'm losing my train of thought on things. Oh, I'm so sorry. I got to slow down here for a minute. So, you can go through here and with any type of activity, any type of marketing activity, you can address. If you're having low registration, I do seminars with the local Chamber of Commerce, and we were doing really well for a while with these lunch and learn things, but next month or in December, we're going to try to do something in the morning, see if that might bump up the attendance. And when you find things that work, stick with them. Don't uh, don't deviate. If you do, try them in the morning, afternoon, evening, and see what works best. I'm doing an evening seminar. I can't remember, in the last couple of years doing an evening seminar. In November, I'm doing an evening local seminar here at the library. So we'll see what happens. They wanted to do it, and I'm fine with that. They're doing most of the promotion and all. So, always try to promote on a multiple channels. Certainly, that's what I try to do. I should have done something on LinkedIn for this, but I didn't. Do a video, do a short video about the event. I didn't do that here either. I've got to get better at doing these things myself. Past attendees get early registration. We all like to feel a little special. So if you have a list of your past attendees and you say, we haven't let people know, but I'm giving you a little bit of advance notice, just for the heck of it, then go for it. Low attendance, think about moving the time, providing incentives, sending reminders. I made sure that another reminder went out for this at about 1:30 Eastern time today to make sure that people would have it. Plus, sometimes I think that it's good to do that because people will look in their email box for the link. And if it's just right there on top, you'll get a little bit better attendance. So, I think here we go. So, social media. Yep, social media. High engagement, low click rate. Things that you might want to think about to make it better. Offer more topics, share types that people like. Right now, it's videos on Facebook. Photos are good. Text is good too. We tried this out. I have a client that's a hotel and conference center, and they were doing a job fair, and we did text and we did photo. And very honestly, the photo didn't do as well as the text. I was shocked by that. But the text got more shares and got more people tagged in it. So we paid $30 for each one, and the results were probably 3 times as much for the text versus the photo. I'll be trying video on that type of thing pretty soon. But just doing a short video and putting it on your Facebook page gets way better engagement than anything else out there. And then think about times and dates. And another thing to think about to increase your engagement on social media, don't be afraid to post things 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 times. Just because, as I said earlier, 5% of the people often are who are seeing your Facebook posts. So if you have 1,000 people that like your page, you'll see 50 will see it on average. But putting it out there 2 or 3 times, if it's good stuff, nobody's gonna see it twice, or rarely will they see it twice, but more people will see it, so you'll get more value for create the content that you created. And again, rarely are people going to your Facebook page. Most of the time, they're seeing your stuff on their news feed. So that's another way to not worry about posting 2 or 3 times anyway. So give more reasons to click, and the whole reason that you should be using social media, or a big reason, I'm not going to say the whole reason, but a big reason should be to get people from social media onto your list. So when you're doing things on your Facebook page, try to get people to come back to your website and give you their email address, because you don't own your Facebook list. You only rent it, and they could change the conditions anytime, and your 5,000 people who like your Facebook page would go into oblivion. That chances are slim of that happening, but I'm just saying, if they've driven what people see down to about 5%. So, who knows what could happen next? You might have the only way you could talk to people would be to pay. That would be the next step. It's gotten down so low. So powerful, entertaining content to improve low engagement. Post when your fans are online. You can go and get some of these metrics with Facebook as well. If you look at your insights, you can find great metrics on Facebook that'll help you out with this. I'm not going to go into that today, but just as you should be using Google Analytics, you should also be using your insights in Facebook, and include multimedia. Go for some videos, and these are all just videos that you make on your computer or your phone. It doesn't have to be complicated at all. Suppose you got in a new product and you wanted to show it to people. There's reason why you can't use your phone and take a short video of the product. Here's the new widget that we got in. It's made in wherever. It costs this. It's great to do this, and that's it. 15, 20 seconds. Take it off your phone, put it onto your Facebook page, and you'll get more engagement. So, repeat success always. Keep doing it until it slows down. If you've got a great thing, don't give up on it. Keep doing it until it slows down. So, here we have, where you can go to find click-throughs in Constant Contact. This is what I was talking about a little bit, that my lawn care company client does, is when we put a video, or I've done this with the auto repair shop, I've done it with other ones, I've done it myself also. You put a video in an email, and if people click on the video that is about a particular topic, then you can go in here. We can't do it here, but you would click on this 12, and those would be the 12 prospects that you would have, because they all clicked. So that's great stuff. That's stuff that, I've been using that in Constant Contact, I bet, for 10 years. So here we go. How to evaluate a marketing campaign. You can tell, if anybody has questions, feel free to type in a question. That's the one thing that I don't necessarily like about GoToWebinar is that you can't talk to people versus GoToMeeting, but you can hold a lot more people. But if anybody has any questions, please feel free to type them in there. I'll take a quick stop here because we're doing pretty well. Let's see. I hope everybody's getting something out of it. There have been a few writer downers there where you think that that's something that I got to do. I would say that certainly, to recap so far, having Google Analytics on your website would be something that's really important. Watching the analytics in your email marketing, watching your Facebook insights to make sure that you are, what things work, what things don't work. If you're afraid to repost things, a place to start with reposts is with your best post. If you did a post 2 weeks ago and it was a really high engagement post, it got some shares, got some comments, post it again. That's okay. Like I said, chances that somebody else are gonna see it is going to be a little tough. Let's see. What's a good number of emails to start with your email marketing? That's a great question. That's a great question. Because I have a real strong opinion on it, and that number is one. You've got to get started. I encourage you, if you're, can't decide what you want to do, everybody's got a short email list, and whether that email list is friends and family, if those friends and family know that you're starting a new business or you have a business and you want to start doing email marketing and you're asking for their help to be on their list, they could be on your list and you could send them the emails and they could give you feedback if they wanted to. Start with a very small amount, because it's more important that you start doing this, because this is one of those things that it's. I was in a group on Wednesday night and we were talking about Think and Grow Rich, Napoleon Hill. All of y'all should try to read Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. And it's in the public domain, so you don't even have to pay for it. You can get PDFs of it out there. But it's really getting into the email marketing mindset. And when you do that, when you say, well, every week I'm going to send an email, and that's how you're going to start growing your list, and you start off with 20 people, you'll be fine. It's a little bit of maybe busy work, but again, if you had an email that you did when you were just getting started and there were 20 people that saw it, and now you're up to 120 people, maybe send it again. They keep playing. The guys on NPR, Click and Clack, the Tappet brothers, they're still playing that stuff. And they've, one of them passed away and they've not been doing it for 4 or 5 years, and they're talking about 92 Honda Accords, but it's good stuff. So it's worth repeating. So that's my answer to the question. You got to get started now, because if you get started and make it part of your business life and your business week, one, it'll start growing a lot faster. You'll get better at it. And then, by the time you get to 100, you'll be doing a heck of a job. So I hope that answered your question there, Mark. Thank you very much. So here we go. How to evaluate your marketing campaigns. I got to get back on that. So, you want to set a goal. What's that going to be? I would encourage everybody to go and look at the open rates and find out what the open rate is in your industry and what the click-through rate is. At least start with open rate and see, well, what can we do to get our open rate up higher? And then you go back and look, on that grid, and I'll after we're done here, I'll send everybody a link to a copy of the slides so you can have that grid that had all the things that you could do. But what are the things that we can do? We can change the subject line. Oh, and here's another thing, that just a little aside on this. Look at who it's coming from. Within Constant Contact, you can make it come from, the words that are there, almost anything. And there's an organization that sends out emails not through Constant Contact, through another service, but they have like the name of the assistant as who it's coming from, and I don't know who the name of the assistant is. And I really would much rather see the name of the organization because I have a relationship with that organization. So make sure, who it's coming from. That could have an effect on your open rate as well. And change it. If it's like CCJCJ, again, who the heck is that? I can't remember. So put in if you have a big long organization name, you're obviously going to have to truncate it. But still, think about how you can uh, make it so when people see who it, see the name, sometimes your name is fine. Other times the name of the organization. You got to make that decision yourself. So, create the campaign. You got to do it. Send it. You got to send it. Don't leave it in draft form. I got a new client this week who had a whole bunch of emails almost ready to go. But, I work with, I study under a guy. I read his books and go to some of his seminars and all. Dan Kennedy, if anybody's heard of Dan Kennedy. But Dan Kennedy had one of the things that he says is good enough. And you certainly don't want to send the stuff out that looks ugly and typos and all that sort of thing. But if you're looking for the perfect email, you're probably never going to find it. And if you do, send it a couple of times. But just do it more than anything else. Just get out there and do it. And then, look at the report. What's going on? How many clicks did we get? How many people opened? If you're getting, 21 clicks on 25 open, that's pretty darn good. So while it's a 10% click through rate, that's still pretty darn good. Almost everybody is clicking. So you've obviously touched a nerve on somebody, and whatever that might be, and, maybe changing, your subject line. Check out our website. If you're just saying, our newsletter, you're probably not making it. And really, this doesn't say anything. But there's another thing that you can do on this, and I hate to break up the presentation. Let's see, we're doing okay on time, but I'll write this note down. Pre-headers. I don't know how many of you all are using pre-headers in Constant Contact when you send an email, but pre-headers are great. Basically, the pre-header is, and check this out. It's up on the top, it's pre-header. And you can put text in there that's going to show up next to your subject line, appearing much like the beginning of the text on an email that often shows up there. But there's another chance for you to increase your open rate by working on the pre-header and getting text in there that's going to get people to open it. So, here we have just looking at what your goals might be. Our goal is to drive traffic to the new Half Moon Yoga website. So we want to take people from our email to our website. And there's going to, not only are we going to be able to measure that in the click-through rate, but we're going to be able to measure that with Google Analytics as well, if you have Google Analytics on your website. And I like to have both. So here you can see, taking this all the way through. And any of you all could set up a little chart like this if you think that that's going to help you do a better job with your email marketing. What we usually do with clients is once a month, if they're clients that we're just doing emails for, once a month we'll get together and look at the results and try to see what really appealed to people, what had the highest click-through rates and the highest open rates, and maybe generated the most revenue if they're keeping track of that information as well, and then try to adjust for the upcoming month. So, we're not able to do it every week, but certainly doing it every month is a good thing. So like I said, set benchmarks for yourself, and that report is a great place to go. Set the frequency to review reports and make changes to your marketing. We do that once a month with my clients, at least once a month. If they're, some clients I meet with once a week, and we do it that closely. Don't change everything at once because you want to make sure that what you did really had an effect. I would say anybody who, when I mentioned about where your email was coming from, anybody who had a question as to whether that might be affecting their open rates or not and wants to change it, I would just change that first and see what happens. And it may help and it may not help. It depends on, like for me, I've always been saying Chris Ripley, and I've always developed a relationship with people, and I haven't gotten big enough, nor do I want to get bigger where I don't have that identification. But in lots of cases with my clients, they're really more identified as the company than the person. So don't change everything at once. So what I wanted to talk about real quickly at the end here, well, actually, I'd like to talk about um, one thing that we do, and it's pretty reasonably priced, but very effective, and it's guaranteed as well. I know with a lot of people, the problem is doing it, like I talked about before, that it's just too hard to every week sit down and create a new email newsletter for your business. And the best timing is to do it once a week. And really thinking about that, it can become, if you're sending it too infrequently, people aren't going to know who you are. They may think that it's spam and delete you or even call you spam, which would not it's not going to help you in the long run if you get too many spam complaints. And then if you do it too often, you may alienate people. Although I once was in on a presentation where somebody said that they did more than once a week, and they were very effective about it. We'll send 2 in a week, maybe even 3 if there's an event going on. So that's really, it's all really up to you and what you find to be most effective. But there's no question that email marketing is the number one return on investment of any marketing that you can do in your business. And we guarantee it. And what I say there is if you sign up with me on this program and you want to do it this way with us, we'll guarantee that if you don't, in the first 3 months, you don't make your money back. So it's $99 a month. So if you don't make at least $297 in the first 3 months, we're going to give you your money back and we'll say we're done and move on. Or I would say you want to stick with it for a few more months. But even then, I would think you'll certainly get results, and we'll do it all for you. If you don't have a constant contact account, we'll create it for you, import your lists. If you already have one and you want to work with us, but you've got a list that you've never brought in, we'll help you with that as well. We'll create a new marketing email for your business every week, send it to you for approval. Upon your approval, we'll schedule and send the email at the best time for your list. And we'll work on doing that as well. And we'll meet monthly with you to plan out the next month's email marketing. So I usually meet on GoToMeeting with people once a month. We'll have a little checklist that we go through, and it tells us, what events you might have coming up, what kind of content you might like. We look at what's worked, what hasn't worked, that sort of thing. This is once a week for only $99 a month. So it's a thing that you can cross off your list very easily. So, and this is, when I thought about doing this, very honestly, I talked to my assistant about it for a while because I'm obviously in business to make money as well, and this is a really low price, and we're not certainly making as much as we do maybe on other things, but this is a great way to cross something off your list and get something done relatively inexpensively by people who know what they're doing. We can do it a lot faster than you probably can because we do it for lots of companies. So if you're interested in that, you can go right here, strategic-marketing-group /email marketing, and that's where you can sign up for it. Everybody who's stuck around this long, don't leave yet, because I wanted to take a minute since we're at the end here and show you about that pre-header. So I'm going to go and show you how that works in Constant Contact, and it is just, I'll tell you, man, since going to this solid state drive, it's amazing how fast stuff goes. I'm going to sign into one of my clients here real quick, and let me make this a little bit bigger so everybody can see it. Now it's going to go slow, but I think it's a constant contact issue here. I spoke too soon. That's what happens. So this is a great thing that you should be doing with your constant contact emails. So I'm going to go and we're going to look at this one that we have to set to go out next week. And I'm going to unschedule it. And then, here you'll get to see one of the emails that we do. And, here we're doing one, and we don't do this all the time, but we got valuable coupons enclosed. So when somebody sees that email, that's going to show up in their line in their email client as value, right after the subject line, valuable coupons enclosed. So that's a very powerful way to get that in front of people. So that's, just a little tip that I wanted to throw in there. And you can also you can also do this in other ways, but Constant Contact makes it real easy to do. And I just wanted to show that to everybody. So again, that really wraps it up. For the people who don't have Constant Contact, you can also get a free trial of it if you just go right here. So this is, this will give you a free trial, and I'm going to actually go ahead and put that in there. I should have put the other link in there as well. But there's a link if you want to try things out, and if you want to learn more about the email marketing package and how to what we do for that and all the more information. It's on our website, so there's a link for that as well. I'm going to wrap things up. If anybody has any other questions, you can ask them in there. And here's my contact information as well. If you're interested, there's my phone number. I'll be glad to answer any questions if you've got frustrations with Constant Contact and you'd like some help with it. Part of my job as an authorized local expert is to help people out with those. So I'll be glad to do that. And if not, we'll wrap it up. I'll sit here for a minute and leave the links up. And everybody have a great day. And thank you very much.